I've been doing this for a long time. Maybe I'm the only one here that does this professionally all the time. And I can tell you that all 41 of your recommendations resonated with me because I could take those recommendations back in time with me to Hurricane Floyd in eastern North Carolina in 1999, and the exact same recommendations in one form or another would or could have or probably did come out. I could have taken them with me to Florida after the hurricanes in 2004, where there were 5 hurricanes and 15,000, 20,000 families out of their homes. And the same recommendations could have come out of that disaster. I definitely could have taken them to Hurricane Katrina, where I was FEMA's post-disaster housing recovery leader of an agency that had no post-disaster housing recovery plan. And between the FEMA funds and the HUD funds and all the other SBA and all the others, your same 41 recommendations would have resonated there as well. And we can package them up right now and send them to North Carolina for the people after Hurricane Matthew, or to Baton Rouge for the people who had floods there last summer, or we could just put them in a time capsule and wait for the next one, because nothing's changing. Nothing's changing. Jim, I remember when you asked me about going down to New Orleans, and you took me aside and said, do I really need to go? And I said, you do really need to go, but I didn't entirely tell you why you really need to go, and I didn't want to bias you in that, but I wanted you to go to see what was going to happen to you, regardless of your best efforts. Because until something changes, we're going to keep getting this. After Katrina, Congress passed the Post-Katrina Reform Act, and it didn't reform anything. After Hurricane Sandy, we had the Sandy Recovery Improvement Act. It didn't improve anything. I was on the Sean Donovan-led panel task force that came up with 60-plus resilience recommendations. They didn't do anything to help us here. They were well-intentioned. It was 20-plus federal agencies, so you get what you get when you put 20-plus federal agencies together and ask them to come up with recommendations they can all agree upon. We've got to make some substantive changes here. This recovery was a disaster. We failed the people of New York. I'm talking from a city perspective. My team is here, Rob is here, and Patrick is here, and Thaddeus is here. They worked hard. Everybody worked hard at this. I agree with you completely, Holly, that there are no villains. But I will tell you, we did a damn good job of breaking some people who tried to be heroes. And one of them's right there, and there are others in this room. With the bureaucracy, we've got to demand change. We can't settle for this. And the problem is, what are we trying to do here? We talk about post-disaster housing, but have we ever had the discussion of, do people who lost their houses because of disaster, are they entitled to a new home at the government's expense? I'm not saying yes or no, I'm saying we haven't talked about that. Until you talk about that, you get what you get. You get FEMA coming in saying, we're not here to make you whole. We'll give you 30 grand to get you on your way, but we're not going to make you whole. We get Congress saying, maybe we'll pass some legislation and throw some money in and then let state and local governments figure out how to build housing programs around that. But are people entitled to a home? We know they're not. There are tens of thousands of families in this city that don't have a home, and we acknowledge that. We have people who lose their homes all the time because of their own personal disasters, and we don't feel like they're entitled to a home. If we feel like people after disaster are, then we need to build programs that get them into a home, and not programs that are really set up to pass a bunch of money around and eventually get some people back in a home if you can figure out your way through the process. So, 41 brilliant recommendations. I wish you had given those to Sean Donovan when he was still at HUD and could have done something about them, because these are not surprises, but they're actually very well articulated. And I hope this does work up through the bureaucracy so that we can see some change for the next ones.